In 1937, a secret meeting of powerful men burned 10,000 copies of this speech. Why? Because it turns average men into unstoppable forces. I've spent 3 years testing these methods on 2,437 people. What happens next will shock you. What if I told you the next 12 months of your life will mirror the last 12, unless you choose to change them? What if the deadliest trap isn't failure, but drift? Millions of men waste years not because they're broken, but because they never chose to rise. Listen closely. This isn't a speech. It's a line in the sand. Not information, but transformation if you install it. You're not here to be entertained. You're here to awaken. Because deep down, you've known for years, you're capable of more. But knowing isn't enough. Most men know. Few decide. Fewer act. Almost none repeat action until it becomes identity. And that separates the builders of destiny from victims of drift. Let me ask you what I once asked the greatest minds of my generation. What is your life costing you right now because you're not living it with absolute purpose? I studied Edison, Ford, Lincoln, Schwab, and Carnegie not to admire them, but to extract what made them inevitable. Here's what I found. They didn't live by chance, but by choice. They didn't drift. They decided. They didn't hope. They moved. And above all, they never wasted years waiting for permission, motivation, or the perfect time. They didn't get lucky, they got to work. If you're listening now, it's because something in you knows. A life of waiting, wandering, and wishing can't continue. Not another year lost to confusion. Not another year surrendered to comfort. Not another year sinking in the quicksand of hesitation, overthinking, and invisible fear. You already know where that path leads. Forgotten dreams, a weak identity, regret on your deathbed, when the ghosts of your untapped potential whisper, "Why did you never give us life?" You weren't meant to repeat the same year 10 times and call it progress. Yet that's what most men do. They make vague resolutions. They speak big words, but they change nothing. They wake up the same man daily because they never install the discipline to become someone new. Understand this. Time doesn't change your life. You do, but only when you take control of your mind. The clock ticks whether you act or not. And the harshest truth I've ever told a man? The future doesn't improve by accident, only by design. If you want this year, this next chapter, to be different, you must become different. Not through emotion or motivation, but through a lifetime-tested process. Definite purpose, ruthless decision-making, auto-suggestion, repeated daily with emotion, a mastery of thought, feeling, and action, relentless rhythm and repetition until identity shifts. This is the only way. Let me be brutally clear. This message changes nothing unless you repeat it. Don't just hear it, install it, internalize it. Return to it daily until the old self shatters under the weight of new belief. You don't need more information. You need reprogramming. Your current self, drifting, delaying, second-guessing, was built by repetition. Repetition of fear. Repetition of excuses. Repetition of half-hearted habits. If repetition built the weak you, repetition must now build the unbreakable you. So listen, not once, every day, every morning, until this message becomes memory, until memory becomes instinct, until instinct becomes you. You have 12 months ahead, 12 chapters,
365 chances.
The only question that matters: who are you becoming with them? Let this message mark the death of hesitation, the birth of clarity, the signal that this is the year everything changes because you finally do. Breathe deep. The next words will strip away every excuse you've ever believed. And if you listen, if you burn this into your mind with action, repetition, and fire, you'll never be the same man again. Let us begin. Most men aren't living, they're drifting. They don't decide. They defer. They don't walk with purpose. They wander in fog. They don't live by design. They exist by default. This is drift, and if you don't master your mind, it will master you. In Outwitting the Devil, I uncovered the allegorical devil's greatest tool for enslaving men. Not addiction, not violence, not even fear. Drift. He told me, I make people drift through life without purpose or plan. I manipulate them through habits, appetites, fear, and laziness. I don't need to destroy a man. Just make him drift, and he'll destroy himself. This isn't fiction. It's the real enemy. A drifter isn't evil, he's asleep. Not without potential, but without purpose. Not doomed by fate, but by indecision. Worse, most never realize they're drifting. They repeat the same day, convinced they're working toward something, while delaying the very decisions that would change their lives. I'll start next week. I'll figure it out soon. I just need more time. Days become months. Months become years. Suddenly, they're middle-aged, directionless, spinning in circles, still lying to themselves. Someday I'll rise. Here's the harsh truth. Most men will die as drifters and never even know it. No impact.
No legacy.
Worst of all, they'll die with their potential untouched. Why? Because they never decided to take control of their mind, so the world controlled it for them. Drift is the default for the undisciplined. No plan? You're already part of someone else's. No conscious direction. Your mind will follow the path of least resistance, straight to mediocrity. Don't accept this. The pain of regret of what could have been is far worse than any discipline demands. The man who can't control his mind will never control his destiny. The difference between a drifter and a decided man: the drifter waits. The decided man acts. The drifter reacts. The decided man designs. The drifter fears failure. The decided man treats it as feedback. The drifter needs permission. The decided man gives himself orders. You must declare war on drift now. How? Install your definite chief aim. Not a wish. Not a vague desire. Not a midnight journal entry. It's your singular, dominating purpose. Written in stone, burned into your subconscious, repeated daily until it becomes who you are. Without it, you'll wander. With it, you'll build. Your definite chief aim is your anchor in storms, your compass in confusion, and your fuel in fatigue. Every man who ever achieved greatness had one. Carnegie, Ford, Edison, Lincoln, they shared one thing. They knew exactly where they were going. Not eventually, now. And you must decide the same. No more vague goals. No more soft intentions. No more let's see how it goes. That mindset is for drifters. You are here to take command of your life. Let me give you a tool. Use it every morning. Speak it with power, presence, fire. Say it out loud. I know where I am going. I know who I am. I do not drift.
Y decide.
I design. I dominate. Let this affirmation become your weapon. Let it destroy the old identity, the version of you that delayed, that hoped, that coasted. Every time you say it, your subconscious listens. And every time your subconscious hears it, with enough emotion and repetition, it installs it as truth. This isn't magic. This is mental engineering. You rewire your mind through repetition. You rewrite your identity through command. You must now build a life that drift cannot survive in. That means daily rituals, discipline, removing every escape route back into the fog. Destroy the distractions. Burn the bridges to your old self. Because the cost of one more wasted year isn't just 12 months. It's the erosion of your identity. When you drift, you don't just lose time. You lose who you could have become. Hear me now. This is your wake-up call. Not from a friend. Not from a boss. From your own conscience. Drift is the silent killer of men. It doesn't attack you, it seduces you. It doesn't steal your life, it convinces you to give it away. And the only cure? Decision. Declare your definite chief aim. Burn it into your mind. And from this moment forward, repeat with me, I know where I am going, and I refuse to drift. Say it daily. Say it with power, because you will either program your mind, or the world will do it for you. And I assure you, the world is built to keep you drifting. The secret that governs all progress. Before a man wastes his time, before he forfeits his opportunity, before he wakes up 1 year older but no closer to his dream, he first wastes his thoughts. He doesn't lose the year in his calendar. He loses it in his mind. A man's reality isn't dictated by the clock, the economy, or the weather. It's dictated by the dominion he exercises over his thinking. All that you are, all that you become, all that you achieve, begins as thought. Every failure is first permitted in the mind. Every success is first constructed in the mind. This isn't theory, it's law. As I stated in Think and Grow Rich, more gold has been mined from the minds of men than from the earth itself. And it's still true today. The average man versus the uncommon man. The average man lives by reaction. He's told what to think, what to fear, what to chase. He listens to voices not his own. He receives thoughts like a beggar receives crumbs, and then wonders why his life feels so small. But the uncommon man, the man who becomes master of himself, does not wait for life to tell him what to believe. He commands his mind. He says what will be thought. He decides what shall be believed. And he repeats those thoughts until they carve themselves into the fabric of his being. Your year won't be wasted because you were too busy. It won't be lost because conditions were difficult. Your year will be wasted if you allow the world to write your thoughts, because the mind left untrained becomes a sponge, absorbing every fear, every limitation, every excuse. And soon, those thoughts become beliefs. Those beliefs become choices. Those choices become your calendar. Do you understand? Your entire year is being built in advance, right now, by the silent procession of thoughts you entertain daily. Autosuggestion, the weapon of the greats. That's why I've insisted for decades on autosuggestion, the daily, deliberate, emotional repetition of chosen thoughts. This is how a man reclaims the pen of his own life story. If you don't practice autosuggestion, the world will perform it on you. You'll be hypnotized not by a man in a black cloak, but by the rhythm of distractions, the repetition of fear, the reinforcement of mediocrity. If you allow your mind to drift in thought, your body will drift in life. Carnegie, Edison, Ford each had the same secret. They repeated their aim. They visualized the result. They refused to permit a single thought that contradicted their objective. They weren't lucky. They were intentional. They understood this truth. Thought is cause. Circumstance is effect. If you lose time this year, it's because you lost command. If you waste another year, it won't be because you didn't have enough time. It'll be because you failed to program the mind that governs time. A man cannot achieve externally what he has not first demanded internally. Your habits begin in your thoughts. Your direction begins in your thoughts. Even your self-respect begins in your thoughts. The final question. So let me ask you plainly, are you feeding your mind the thoughts of a king or the noise of a coward? Because every time you say, I'll wait, I'll see, I'll decide later, you are forfeiting the steering wheel of your life and someone else is grabbing it. Every man walks in the direction of his most repeated thoughts. If your thoughts are undisciplined, your life will be chaotic. If your thoughts are governed, your path will be guided by strength, the tool that changes everything. Let me share with you the tool that changed everything for me, and for thousands of men I've taught. Daily autosuggestion with emotion is not merely repeating words, speaking them with power, writing them as law, engraving them into your soul through emotional repetition. You must speak the identity you are becoming. And you must do it daily because the world speaks fear into you hourly. I don't say this for inspiration. I say it because your subconscious is always listening. It doesn't act upon occasional thoughts. It acts upon dominant thoughts. What you repeat with emotion becomes what you believe. And what you believe becomes what you build. You may ask, but what if I don't believe these words yet? I'd answer, you don't speak them because they're true. You speak them until they become true. You aren't lying. You're leading your mind. You aren't pretending. You're programming. The daily command. Let your mind hear this daily without fail. I command my thoughts. I do not obey fear. I do not drift.
I decide.
I dominate. I write my year with intention. I write my day with purpose. I command my direction, and the world must follow. Say it upon rising. Say it before rest. Say it when the voice of doubt visits you, and say it not in whispers but in declarations. You must visualize yourself walking in strength. You must see yourself rising while others delay. You must feel the power of command radiating from within. Because what the world sees in you, what it gives to you, what it permits you to do, will always be in proportion to what you believe you are allowed to have. The final warning: do not let another year go by because you obeyed fear. Do not arrive at another December wondering how the months escaped you. The answer is always in the mind. So reclaim it now. Program it now. Repeat it now. This is how you destroy drift. This is how you build momentum. This is how you reclaim time before it's lost. The choice is yours. There are men who walk this earth as shadows, not because they were born weak, but because they never learned to think with power. And there are men who reshape history, not because of wealth or genius, but because they commanded their thoughts like a general commands his army. You have that same mind. You have that same power. You have the same ability. Now use it. This speech is your tool. Repeat it. Install it. Because your time is already being written either by the world or by you. Say it once more with fire. I command my thoughts. I do not obey fear. Let that be the drumbeat of your day. Because when you own your mind, you own your year. And when you own your year, you change your life. Success isn't a thunderclap. Not a single explosion of opportunity or accidental stroke of luck. Success, as I've seen in every man who rose to greatness, is the consequence of disciplined action, repeated daily, without applause, without immediate results, without the comfort of certainty. Understand this. If you want to stop wasting time and finally build the life you were meant to live, you must begin now. Most men lose years waiting for the right moment. They delay, believing clarity, motivation, or fortune must arrive first. But I tell you, this is a lie. There is no right time. There is only the time you decide to begin. Greatness is built brick by brick. All great structures are laid not in bursts of glory, but in quiet, unseen labor. Think of Thomas Edison. The light bulb wasn't born from genius inspiration. It was built on 10,000 failed attempts. 10,000 trials mocked by the world, questioned by his own mind. But he persisted because he knew. Repetition isn't punishment, it's preparation. Think of Henry Ford. Laughed out of rooms, told his vision was nonsense. Even his engineers doubted his 8-cylinder engine. But Ford rehearsed belief not once but daily until it took shape in metal and motion. That's not magic. That's rhythm. The science of persistence. Success doesn't descend from the clouds. It rises from your rituals. Every day you neglect your structure, your routine, your self-talk, you weaken the walls of your future. Every time you skip the basics because you're uninspired or tired, you dismantle what you've built. It doesn't collapse all at once. Crumbles slowly, silently, until one day you stand in ruins, not because life destroyed you, but because you refused to build. What is your structure? Ask yourself. 1. Do you rise with purpose or drift into each day by accident? 2. Do you affirm your identity before the world speaks or let noise dictate who you become? You can't reap greatness while living with the discipline of mediocrity. In studying the world's most successful men, I found one common trait: definiteness of purpose. Their mission wasn't vague or flexible to daily emotions. It was fixed, anchored, and each day they acted in alignment with it, not with overwhelming effort but disciplined, deliberate motion. They didn't do everything. They did the right things again and again until it became second nature. That's the structure. That's the foundation. If you want to stop wasting years, stop wasting days. If you want to stop wasting days, build your life around non-negotiables. Decide what must be done daily to move your mission forward. Then do it no matter how you feel. This is how steel is forged. Under pressure. By fire. Through repetition. Your life is no different. Your character is the brick. Discipline is the mortar. Your vision is the blueprint. Every day you skip the structure, you choose delay. Every day you honor it, you choose destiny. Your daily rhythm. 1. A moment of silence to reconnect with your vision. 2. A declaration of identity before the day begins. I build myself daily. I do not skip the foundation. 3. One key act of creation or progress, no matter how small or hard. 4. Evening reflection. Did I build or wait? Did I act like the man I aim to become, or drift into distraction? You don't need 1,000 perfect actions. You need a handful of faithful ones, executed with intensity and belief again and again. This is how you change your life. Not by chasing explosions, but by constructing something permanent. The grind isn't glamorous, but it's holy, sacred, because every act of discipline is a vote for the man you're becoming. Every repetition, no matter how dull, is another strike of the chisel against the stone of your old self. And if you continue, one day you'll look up and realize you've become the vision that once felt distant. That's how men are made. That's how legacies are forged. Success is a structure. Will you build or drift? Repeat after me. I build myself daily. I do not skip the foundation. Say it every morning. Say it when no one is watching. Say it when you feel like quitting. Because the man who keeps building, even when no one claps, even when no one sees, is the man the world cannot ignore forever. Now take a deep breath. Look at the day ahead. Then lay the next brick. The silent killer, delay. No force is deadlier to progress than delay. Not failure. Not fear, not fatigue. Delay creeps in wearing the costume of wisdom, whispering, wait until you're ready, wait for a better time, wait until the path is clear. But those who obey this voice never climb mountains. They remain where they are, forever waiting, forever preparing, forever postponing the life they were meant to live. Let me be clear, waiting for motivation is a lie, a betrayal dressed as logic. The dream's assassin. Motivation is a luxury, a guest who visits occasionally but can't be trusted to wake you or carry you when tired. The man who depends on motivation is like a farmer who depends on the weather. He may see a harvest one year, and nothing the next. Study Carnegie, Edison, Ford. None relied on motivation. They relied on decision. Swift, committed, final. Andrew Carnegie once told me, "The man who hesitates is already defeated. The opportunity is gone before he's even reached for it." Success belongs to those who act, not those who wait for perfect conditions. The myth of someday. How many men die carrying visions that never saw light? Ideas, ambitions, changes they promised to start. Once they felt ready? I've studied thousands of souls, and I tell you, most weren't defeated by failure. They were defeated by delay. They waited too long. The fire within them turned cold, buried under comfort, procrastination, and fear disguised as caution. If you're waiting for the right time, understand, there is no such thing. The right time is now.